love this country, and we are losing it. We are in a Marxist, progressive, communistic, socialistic style, Stalinist, purge style takeover. This is David Zere. You are watching Breaking Point on Real America's Voice News. And I wish I was exaggerating about that, but we're not. So we have some tough times here. But I had an incredible 2 weeks with Real America's Voice News. Once again, for the second year in a row, Real America's Voice News had the biggest presence at CPAC of all the media outlets, including Fox Nation. It was truly amazing. We just did interview after interview for like 4 days straight. Trump was electric. He brought the house down. People missed him. They were crying. And last weekend, I had the fortunate opportunity to spend at Mar-a-Lago with President Trump, Don Jr., Kim Guilfoyle, and the awesome, the incredible, the vibrant Governor Kristi Noem of South Dakota. And we're going to have her on the show. And man, is she something else? 3% unemployment in South Dakota. They never closed. They never closed for business. And they have about 2/3 of the death rates per capita of New York. These lockdowns were a terrible mistake. 17 states are either open or got rid of their mask mandates at this point. They've turned Washington, D.C. into East Berlin. Where are your papers? The People's House. Pelosi will not allow anybody to go and meet with their elected representatives inside the Capitol. It is a complete socialistic banana republic, third world style takeover of the United States. I spent my whole life going to the Capitol, lobbying for veterans, for bills with the Long Island, for the National Association of Home Builders. This has been taken away from us. And we got to get rid of the concertina wire and the fences and the soldiers asking you for your papers with this fake threat. There's a fake threat. It's not true. This fake intelligence they had last week where Congress stopped what they were doing and fled the building. It's BS. It's BS. It's time to take our country back. ICE arrests at the border have plummeted 60% in 1 month since Biden is president. 60% in just a month. We're letting people with COVID in the country. We're going to have increased murders. From 2011 to 2017 alone, there were 550,000 crimes in Texas, 4,000 murders, 8,000 rapes and kidnappings. We have to stop this. We're losing our country. But I have a really special guest with us right now. I want to bring on Richard Battle. He's an award-winning author who previously published Conquering Life's Course, On Welcome Opportunity, the Volunteer Handbook. He wrote a new book, Navigating Life's Journey, Common Sense in Uncommon Times. And he's a fighter for the people of Texas. Richard Battle, welcome to Breaking Point.
David, thank you so much for having me. It's a joy and a pleasure to be with you this morning.
Yeah, I'm a little fired up. I had a great couple of weeks here. Saw Trump twice. He's electric. He gave us hope again that this country isn't going to be run by Karl Marx. What do you think?
Well, I certainly hope so, and I think we have hope, but we as citizens have to come back into the game and not give up. And with the things going on, it's typical for people to say, there's so much going on, I can't make a difference. But even President John F. Kennedy said one person can make a difference and everyone should try. So what I tell people is, none of us can do everything that we'd like to see to make the changes we want to see made, but we can each do one thing. And so I encourage people to find their passion and get involved in one thing they're not doing now, whether it's school board, city council, a state legislature, Washington, and exercise their responsibilities as citizens so we do not lose our freedom as citizens.
Well, it's really well said. I know you dedicated your life to volunteerism and were active with the Boy Scouts and the City Council, head of the Chamber of Commerce for Austin, Texas, correct? So tell us a little bit about what's going on down there.
Well, and it was a junior chamber I was involved with, although chamber a little bit. But last week, actually yesterday, March 10th, was when Governor Abbott lifted the statewide mandate for masks. And you could feel the difference. I'm west of Austin somewhat, and there's a totally different atmosphere in the city of Austin than there is outside the city. And the city of Austin is trying to fight the governor right now. The Attorney General has threatened a lawsuit against the city for not enforcing the mandate mask lift, and the city is trying to continue a mandate. And so there's a real power struggle going on between local entities and the state. Private businesses are free to require masks as they want to, and I think there's going to be an evolution of that over time as businesses compete, some requiring masks and some not requiring masks.
Yeah, so in Florida, right, most of the counties are open. There's no mask mandate. And there was a study recently in December that said the counties that had a mask mandate actually had a higher infection rate than the counties that didn't. I think New York kicked the can down the road. We're suffering because we locked everything down so tight for so long, and 70% of the people who get COVID get it at home and at family gatherings, not in restaurants, not at the gym. So do you see a way out here in Texas? Like, Austin's very liberal. Is it going to stay like that way just because people, I don't know, they're brainwashed?
Well, I think, in my opinion, yes, there's a risk to COVID, but instead of following the science, what's happened is they followed the politics. And the politics and the media have both perpetuated the fear of this well beyond what it actually is. And when I see someone driving down the street in their car by themselves with a mask on, I know what news and politicians they listen to. And when I go into a restaurant where no one's wearing a mask and everyone's having a good time, I know what news and politicians they're listening to. And it's amazing the difference of the two groups because of the propaganda that's been perpetuated for the last year.
Well, I got to say, I spent a lot of time in Florida, and, their infection rate is like half of New York's, and their deaths are almost about a little over half of New York's, deaths per million per capita. I do take it seriously too. But I think we really crippled ourselves here. 1/3 of our small businesses are gone forever in New York and New Jersey. And we have terrible government, terrible leaders. Crime is up 180% on the New York City subway. Tell me about your book, Navigating Life's Journey, Common Sense in Uncommon Times.
Well, it celebrates the values of Western civilization that have been under attack for many, many years. And the attack will give people doubts about the values they grew up with and the values they want to give to their children and grandchildren. And I think what I'm trying to do is give them that confidence that those values that built the greatest country in the history of the world are still valid. And common sense is always in style. It never goes out of season. Yet we see insanity or a lack of common sense from our leaders on a daily basis.
Yeah, well, our country doesn't follow common sense anymore. They want to get rid of Mr. Potato Head, and, he's already androgynous. There's no body parts on him. What's going on in this country with, the getting rid of Speedy Gonzalez because he has a Mexican last name. And we're just like, we're in this cancel culture where, the left is a victim of their own stuff, like Title IX, right? The women fought for decades to get equal sports participation. And those are, a lot of liberals, a lot of Democrats, women, the women's rights movement. And now it's being all reversed by men competing in women's competitions and smashing all the records. So are you confident, is it because we don't have God in our life, or we don't have parents at home for our kids? What's the reason why we don't have common sense anymore?
Well, I think that's part of it. And the liberals are generally, in my opinion, unhappy people and unhappy with the things going on. And they feel a power now to make all the changes they'd like to make. And I was raised, and you probably were, with the common sense, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So when we heard things that we didn't agree with, it didn't bother us because we let it roll off our shoulders. Well, now people are so easily offended by the least thing. And we used to have a country of strong men and soft women, and now we've got a country of hard women and weak men. And we just allow things to happen that are ridiculous. And it's time to stand up and say enough. Mr. Potato Head is not the issue we should be discussing. That's a diversion away from the serious issues of the day. But we've got to stop the insanity of those type things and rear our children so they can be strong enough to defend our freedom. Because our adversaries see our weakening country and just know it's going to be ripe for takeover on an ever-increasing basis every day.
Yes. In 30 seconds, tell us where our viewers can follow you and buy your great books.
Thank you. My website is richardbattle.com. Any bookstore, they can ask for my books, but at Amazon, Richard V. Battle, all 7 of the books show up, and we appreciate the opportunity to be with you today.
Well, listen, Richard Battle, fighting for the soul of America. This is a battle, and I really appreciate you coming on, and we'll have you back for a deeper discussion, okay?
That would be great. And we say, God bless America, and let's stand up for our rights.
I'm not afraid to say it. I'll see you soon, okay?
Thank you.
Everybody, Richard Battle. I just want to let you know that there's incredible stuff going on. This is going to be a really busy spring. Real America's Voice News. We have the best programming. Check us out. Dish Network, Channel 219, Pluto.tv, Channel 40, Comcast Chicago, Apple TV, Roku. Check it out. This is David Zere. We have Corey Stewart from Virginia coming right with us. Be back with us in a minute.